Hi, I'm Sebastian, and today I'm going to be talking about something called the diffusing method or the diffusion method, which is something I discovered on my own or created on my own, and it's going to be the subject of my next book, Your New Story, Your New Life. I wanted to share a little bit about it so that you can get excited with me about that new discovery. Basically, our minds have a verbal cognitive thinking process within it. In other words, we could think with pictures or we can think in words. Those words are the verbal connection that we have to life, started at a very early age. When we were born, there was really no verbal connection to things. At about, I think it's 16 months, mom or dad, who's ever the parent, is looking at the child, and he or she is wanting the child to be able to respond verbally or to recognize who he or she is. I'm just going to go with mom, okay? So she keeps saying, Mama loves her little baby. Mama loves her little baby. Mama, mama, mama. So she's teaching the child that the word mama, and if she says it over and over and over, is going to be her. Okay? So eventually the child is able to distinguish between two different people or three different people. Which one's mama? She goes there with her arms like that to her mama. Okay, so she's able to distinguish what the word mama is. Then in a few more months, she's able to say mama. And when mama responds, she realizes that the word also is mama. She finds the two are together. This is the understanding of verbal commands in the human mind. So eventually what happens is she claps when the baby says mama, or she gets really excited, and the baby realizes that that joy is something she likes. It's not something she doesn't like. So she says mama more often, or she says mama when she has a need. So getting where I'm going with this is there becomes a nuance to the understanding of the word mama. And there's also understanding of this clapping or the exciting feeling. Now, as the child gets a little bit older, she starts to make decisions. And she may do something that's not good. And the child and the mama goes, no. Or the clapping sound itself no longer means it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. So this creates a kind of an obstruction in the child's mind, and she has to distinguish what clap is good and what clap is bad. So the word no combined with the clap helps her understand that it's a bad thing, or no is not a good thing. All of this and our tangents about words, and we begin to create logical perception about different words. Like, for instance, God. We learn that God is a good and loving thing. And then suddenly as we get older, we find that God's judging. God wouldn't like that. God's gonna hurt you. God's gonna give you something bad. God's gonna send you to hell for being a certain way. So the mind, the verbal mind, gets confused, and as adults, we need to be able to take control of that verbal mind. This diffusion method that I've developed is a cognitive exercise that helps you begin to defuse from the sense that the brain is controlling you. In other words, you may have fused to the idea that God doesn't like you because of something that you are or something that you've done. So we need to be able as adults to defuse from old thoughts. And this exercise will help you do this. So first, let me define something. I'm going to put my screen down a little bit lower so you can see. The prayer hands are going to define the observer mind. And let me share with you what the observer mind is. The observer mind is when we let go of the cognitive brain, what we were talking about, the verbal thinking, and also the body. So when we're when we're releasing control of our body and our brains, we allow ourselves to be in what's called the observer mind. And in the observer mind, this is the most rife place for change in the human mind. The most fertile place for change. So we're going to call this place the observer mind. So when you're going to do this exercise let's start with 5 minutes and get all the way up to 15 minutes. Just let yourself think and notice if you're thinking about something in the past or something in the future. Okay? Now notice this, and this is something you might want to understand or know about the human mind. If you think about a thought for more than 17 seconds, you'll end up thinking a tangential thought about that thought. So that's how the mind begins to go in loops, or it goes kind of on a merry-go-round of negative thinking. If you're thinking of a negative topic for more than 17 seconds, you'll think of something else that's negative. If you're thinking about it from the past or from the future, of fear, more than 17 seconds, if you can catch it before that 17 seconds, and then you're learning to gain control of that verbal command we're talking about. So we're in the observer mind, and you're just letting your mind think. You think of a thought from the past. You're going to move your hand just a little bit if it's from the very recent past. And if you can think, okay, I get it, that I'm thinking a negative or thinking a thought from the past, doesn't have to be positive or negative, then when you gain control of the thought again, come back to center. If it's from the distant past, move your hand even farther, okay? If you think about the future thought or a future dream, move your hand a little bit farther on the other side, in the other direction. It really doesn't matter which direction you choose. I always go left for the past, right for the future. And this is going to be mirrored in this video, so I'm going to be doing just the opposite for the mirroring. So a little bit farther in the future would be farther this way. You catch yourself doing it, come back to the observer. The observer self is always present. It's watching what's happening in the verbal mind of the human being, of your objective self. Okay, so now if you find yourself in the past and you're judging something in the past, tap your forehead. When you stop judgment, come back to center. If you find yourself going to the future and you think you can't do it, or you have some negativity about it, again, tap and come back to center. All right? If you find yourself in a place of real negativity, or you're condemning self, or you hear an old thought of somebody condemning you, I want you to really take action with this thought, and I want you to tap back and forth like this until you come back to a place where you recognize that this thought is not something you deserve or want. Then come back to the center. Now, if you're in a creative mood, if you feel like you understand consciousness in the place where you understand the masculine and feminine of conscious and subconscious, where you're planting a seed from the conscious mind into your subconscious birthing place, like the consciousness is the masculine planter of the seed. This has nothing to do with sexuality, by the way. It's just masculine, feminine. Feminine is like the earth that takes the seed and actually grows it. And it could be very similar to animals or mammals, you know, where the male plants the seed into the female grows the child or the offspring. And that happens in plants, and it happens in everything in the universe, actually. Everything is quite mental. So when we gain control of this place here and diffuse from what we don't want to think and begin to create with that masculine and feminine part of our mind, the conscious and subconscious, this is our best place, and we interlace our fingers, signifying that we are in the highest place of our mental deliberate self or consciousness. If you have a thought that's kind of overwhelming you and it's making you sad or it's emotional, just simply place your hands like this over your heart. Okay? Now you can review this tape. Basically, what we want to do is we want to gain control over our thinking mind, our cognitive verbal mind. And instead of using our verbal mind, we want to actually start to begin to use this masculine, feminine consciousness part of our mind as the deliberate choice to create each day. I hope that helps. I know it's a lot. Listen to this a couple times and practice it with your eyes open first. Then as you gain control of it, then do it with your eyes closed. Have a beautiful day. And remember, if you ever need prayer or you ever need me to think something positive for you or with you, put it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. With the brain, with the mind, with a dream. And you need to have your brain clear for that dream to express itself.
Can get really busy taking care of my home, 2 careers, and my family when your mind can't seem to get quiet to rest. That's when you need to use zeroing out.
I never thought I could quiet my mind in only 3 minutes. Zeroing out works.
I can't believe how much zeroing out has helped me reduce stress. You've got to try it.
Work for me can get time-consuming and stressful at times, but zeroing out has really changed the way I look at my schedule and my time.
Such a step above any other book I've ever seen about this topic, and it's such a simple technique, and I'm able to do it by myself, which I love. So.